And we are continuing the same topic, internal tables. In this session, the three-step procedure. First step is step one, declare internal table. Declare internal table. First step. Second step, perform, okay, perform operations using internal table. Using internal table. Step three is display internal table. Yes, internal table content. Content are entries or records. All are similar meaning. This German people uses content word. We say in India generally we say table data. They use table content. Both are similar meaning. Okay. Yes. Right. Coming to the so you have to know this three-step process. Always you remember a program through will declare first declaration operation output. Same three steps. Same rule applicable to internal tables also. There are various declarations, syntaxes, various operations, and finally display things also. We have to know that. Yeah. So if you want to go to the second level, what are the different types of okay different operations internal tables? All those because I'm just giving a glance outline outlook. You have to know that. Suppose internal table is already created. Then we can use, okay, if you want to fill the internal table, we can use, first one is insert, insert or append. Insert or append. These two are used to fill the internal table. Second, we have the third one is because we should not miss anything. First operation is insert, second operation is append, hmm, the third one is read statement, read, fourth one is loop, fourth one is loop, fifth, fifth operation is we have sort, sort internal table entries, second modify internal table entries, seventh one is how to go for let there is a statement select. This one is delete, delete this, delete this. Here, then is refresh, sorry, refresh, and the 11th one is free. So these all these operations we have to discuss, right? So there is a uh, like what is that? This 12 you got different meaning section. Insert and append is used. So what is that? Insert and append is used to fill internal table. Use either yes. We can also use actually the third one is what is missing is we have select also because that select query is also used to fill internal table. Yes, we have to go for either insert or append or select. That is the purpose of that. Then what next? To read and process records. Okay, to read and process records of iTab, then we have to go for next two statements, that is called read syntax, loop syntax. You have to know that. Yes, next, to process, to perform different operations. What are the different operations means? I want to do sorting data, that is a independent operation, sort. Modify data, that is independent. Collect, different. Delete, different. So I'm naming under different set of operations. Now, what are these names? Okay, so this become overall we have to discuss 12 operations. So 6, 7, 8, and 9, right? This four set under different. Now last one is, if you want to go to clear content or memory of data, we have to use these three. Okay, what is the impact of clear statement? What is the impact of refresh statement or internal? Because interview point of view, all are important. Difference between clear, refresh, and free. So total, because first before introduction, at the introductory topic only, I am giving this bifurcation so that you will be clear with, we should not miss any operation. All these 12 operations, syntaxes, purpose, and how to use, when to use, which operation to use, everything we have to learn in depth, in detail. Because see, there are several things we have to cover. Internal table with our own data and built-in tables data. Internal table with header line, without header line differences you have to know. And the next, internal tables on this all 12 operations also we have to cover, right? Now, I'm going back to above statement because we deviated from this discussion. Yes, suppose back to this one. So user at presentation level, okay, data at database level. This is what the from the day one discussion. So user means business or client or customer. Client want some data. Client want to see the data in a screen also, or a report also, or a form also. These are all the most of the cases user want to see. Or sometimes user wants to see the data. You want to download in Excel also in desktop screen. Or he specify that in this path, in this folder, the data to be downloaded. So finally, user interaction is, it could be a dialog screen or selection screen. Screen level user want to see the data or list screen, that is report level. Otherwise, form, script form, smart form, Adobe form level. Otherwise, you want to download it into Excel or HTML format or XML format, JSON format, that depends. There are nowadays, because you want to share it to the non-SAP system, the different formats required. So sometimes, because you look at user's point of view, The sales department users want sales data, purchase department users want purchase data, accounting department, finance department users require finance related data. They are least bothered where this data stores, what is SAP architecture, all those stuff. Because their requirement is very clear. They want this. So here the functional and technical consultant comes into picture. We will develop, because you want to display in a report, there is a separate procedure. You want to display in form, separate procedure. You want to display in a screen, list screen or dialog screen, there is a separate procedure. Or even you want to download also separate. Procedure means separate programs, separate approaches we have to follow. But it could be any, it could be purchase order table, sales order tables, or finance tables. Okay, but everything we at every point of time, because it is not one record or 10 record or 20 records, it could be hundreds of records. Obviously, we require a iTab. That's what the purpose. So ultimately, to process large quantity or huge amount of data, we'll go with because variables and structures we don't use. That is for simple. You want to fetch single value, go for variable. Single record, go for structure. But I want multiple records. Obviously, you have to need item, right? Now, if you look at some other discussion, that is nothing but internal tables. This arrow is bidirectional arrow. Bidirectional, isn't it? What is the meaning of double-headed arrow? Because that is this database table data, internal table data. So we can fetch database table data and you can keep it into iTab temporary. Suppose let's go for LFA1 known example or yesterday's KNA1. If I bring obviously select queries are used to fetch hmm, in database table data and populate into iTab. Correct? That's what the general statement. Yes. Select statement or select queries. Query is used to fetch or retrieve data from database table or tables. And okay, result set. Result set is nothing but whatever the data comes from database, result data going to fill the target internal table. That means you have to understand, okay, the hmm, source for select query. Yes, source for select query. Query means question to the database that I want this table data. That's it. Is source for select query is database tables always. Tables. And the next target. Target for target of select query is internal tables. This is also clarity required. Okay, when you write select star from LFA1 into table iTab or key tab or IT underscore LFA1, like that we will write it. So from followed by database table into followed by, okay, target means into followed by internal tables, right? Because I was keep on telling you that if it is your own data, Ravi Kiran records, you can give at application level, no problem. Within program, you can give. Okay. But user cannot fill this item. Very rarely we do that user acceptance through filling. Most of the time either program through we hard code, otherwise we can fetch tables data, because declaration is not enough. How you are going to process the records? You need data to do something. Data comes mostly from database. So database means this is one layer, this is another layer. How do you move the data from database layer to application layer is, you cannot use equals to or any value, no, or move corresponding, nothing. To move the data from one layer to another layer, only select statements, select queries only use. That is open SQL statements, we have to use it. Okay, yes, that's what you have to understand it. So a copy of the data, we will bring it here. A copy. LFA1 data, copy here. KNA1 data, copy here. That is copy of the data. You can see. Right. Copy, we got it. That is, table still holds that same record. Okay. Now we are fetching a copy of the data into iTab, and further we are processing into further level. But suppose we'll think in other way. There is some select query loop where you can hit the database for each record also. That is, for every record you can hit the select query for each record. But hitting the database for multiple times leads to, okay, leads to a lot of load on the network. Which network? Moving data from one layer to another layer, there is a lot of load on the system. For each record purpose, you cannot hit the database. That is not recommended. That is why ITAB concept is introduced. What is the ITAB concept is? ITAB can accommodate multiple rows and columns. That's why as if you will get the feeling as database only. At this touch, in one time, rather than hitting the multiple times the database, okay, you can only hit one query, one select statement, so that you can fetch at a time large amount of data, you can place it into iTab. That is the purpose of iTab. Clear? Yes, that's what I explained here. Yes, this is one. Because practical syntax through you will come to know. Okay, hitting database for multiple times is not recommended. That's why we go for internal tables concept. Right. Second, we next, okay, you got the data from the database. Okay, just 1 minute, wait. Yes, any question?
Sir, one question, sir. So yesterday and day before yesterday, when we are calling the database table, that LFA1, so LFA1 having the 224 fields.
Correct.
So all the fields can be called into the structure, sir.
Yeah, that's what. All the fields can be. That means that's what. Slowly going forward, you will get a clarity, because first of all, internal table also can be declared with what is our data. You want a complete all rows, all columns of LFA1 data, then that type of declaration is something different. No, we want only 5 columns of all rows data. That depends, because so at that time the syntax differs. Okay, most of the time syntax differs. So that's why when syntax differs, select query also differs. Correspondingly, select query also differs. So definitely going forward, you will get clarity on that. I will give. So coming to the next topic, yes, this is your select query. Next, if you look at here, you got the data into iTab. What you can do, iTab data. This iTab data can be printed on list. List means report. Okay. Yes. Right. So now we will discuss after fetching data. Yes. After fetching database tables data, okay, into internal table. Yes. First, what next? We can display internal table data into report. Report means list screen, using list screen. That is possible. Next, we can print internal table data into forms. Forms means it could be SAP script form, smart forms, or latest Adobe forms. Any forms through you can print. Or else we can download internal table data, okay, table data into Excel also. That Excel you can download it into you can download into presentation server Excel or application server. Next, last one is we can write internal table data to files at application server, because files at application server, files at presentation server, files at application server, both the ways you can perform this thing. So this topic we will discuss for a moment. And next we can yes sorry we can display internal table data into dialog screen also. Yes, dialog screen also. That is, so many things are we can do it. That's why it is most important topic, hot topic. For example, we will talk one by one. Suppose I created many sales orders, correct? So you want all sales orders data from the given date range, then it become report. All the sales order data you can fetch from sales order related tables, you can display the report. So that is one of the report. Mainly iTab data can be printed on report. So user can go through it. Second one, like you want to evaluate one sales order. One sales order means already yesterday or last week or last month I created one order. Today I want to display or change some display purpose. So at that time also one sales order have header data and multiple line item data. At that time what happened? This because multiple rows and multiple line item data, one order related multiple line items data will fetch, keep it into I tab, will display in the screen. Which screen? Dialog screen. That is nothing but VA03 screen, sales order display T code. That area, there is a line item data, line item data, row by row, line by line. It is going to fill by internal table data only. Okay. So when you go to the purchase order data, sales order data, delivery data, or any kind of transaction data, mostly we are going to use those documents. So all the documents related header data, item data, we are going to fetch it from the tables, database tables, and we are going to display it. Only the difference is header data is going to display in a single fields, and the item data we are going to display by using a table control. Table means line by line or row by row, just like this. In the screen itself, you can see that line by line, row by row. What is this color difference? Color difference means if it is a key fields in one color, non-key fields in another color, like that you can display it. That is about your, so you can display in dialog screen also or report screen also. Okay, yes. Next, if you want to go to print the data, printing. So if you look at right side arrow, when you say print, it is a kind of hard copy. Hard copy means, uh, in olden days we have the dot matrix printers. Dot matrix printers, we'll feed a continuous sheet to the printer where you have dots, left side dots, right side dots. It will automatically print page by page. Correct? It will pick up a continuous printing. That is called as printing report. Latest printers, DeskJet, TechJet printers, we don't use those things. We'll keep a independent loose sheets. Bulk of uh, papers will keep it over there. It will take back to back printing or one side printing like that. But however, if you want to print soft copy to hard copy, obviously SAP output you are printing, multiple lines you have to print. That is obviously you are going to print internal table data only, you are going to print it in the script form, smart form, Adobe forms are used that layout designing purpose. By using that layout, we are going to print the iTab data. So this is your print purpose. iTab data can be used. Okay, that is fetch LFA1 data and print it in the report. Fetch sales order or purchase order data, print it. Then print in dialog screen, print in list screen. Dialog screen is transaction purpose, list screen for report purpose. So screen concept, form concept is over. Then we will go to download concept. Left side, if you look at, this is at application level. This is your cabinet. Olden days desktop systems uses this type of cabinet. CPU we call it. In cabinet we have central processing unit, CPU. Here you have files. When you said file is always have extension. Files are always hold at operating system level, OS level. So that is iTab data you can move to files also. iTab is at application SAP level. SAP data you are writing to the non-SAP file level. Non-file at application level, file at presentation level. Yes, that is also possible. That's what you are downloading at presentation level at as Excel or HTML, JSON format, XML format, different formats you can download it. Okay, even you can download into application server file AL11 code. This is about your overall. Yes. So for all concepts, iTab is the main. Yes. So in SAP app, whatever you do it, major work we do through iTab only. That's why it is hard topic. Okay, clear? But this is about your explanation. Next, I'm going to cover one more topic. These are all just what are the possible operations scenarios. Next, moving to next level is internal. We can also perform open SQL operations. Open SQL operations. Okay, open SQL operations using internal table data. internal table. That is, when you said open SQL, what happened? Select first. Select is the main open SQL. Select statement is used to populate internal table. So we are going to use this word called as populate internal table. Yes. Perform operations before. First you have to populate and perform operations. Okay. Populate internal table data. We use that word. Select query is used. But next, we have alternatively, we have insert statement also. Insert statement, insert is a open SQL statement. Okay, insert statement can be used to insert internal table entries into database table. This is reverse exactly. Okay, then update. Update statement it can be used to update internal table data into database table data. Yes, table or tables. Okay, right. Next, if you go to delete last option. So delete statement can be used to delete database table data using internal table data. To delete database table entries based on internal table entries. So these two are a different type of operations. Select anybody can understand it very easily. Select is one way. One way means just fetching and display in report, display in screen or display in form, display save it in file. That's okay. But sometimes we want to go to bidirectional operation. Example, if you go to right side, it is a one side arrow. When you go with the printing means hard copy. You can only print it. You cannot scan back. You cannot scan and take it into iTab. That type of facilities are not there in iTab. So it is one way. iTab data can be printed on the page, paper, hard copy. That's one way. But if you look at above, iTab data, this is an internal table data. This data I am printing on the report. But the report level, any changes, you can bring back to iTab. iTab through you can again change to the database table. That is screen level. So screen could be list screen or dialog screen. Here a user can perform some entries, some data, add row, delete row, modify row, some kind of. These changes at the front end changes can be reflected back on iTab. Same iTab changes can be reflected on database table. That's why you can see both side arrows. Front end to iTab is bidirectional. You can display iTab data and you can changes also you can bring back. Same iTab to database also bidirectional arrow. That is iTab data can be changed on the this one. Okay, clear? So what user can do? Suppose user created one record, suppose one record, two record at the screen level. These two records will be created on iTab and two new records we can create on the database also. That is insert scenario. If user want to update or modify or changes. So changed user changed several rows. These changes will reflect on iTab first. Then the iTab changes will reflect on database next. That is also possible using update statement. Next, user deleted some entries suppose. user deleted some entries. This deletion of the entries at screen level, same deleted records can be, we can delete those user deleted records from iTab. Same thing we can reflect back on. We can remove the entries, corresponding entries from the database also. So this is what, okay, it's not only one way to fetch and display, all other insert operation, update operation, delete operation also possible by using iTab. These three also part of OpenSQL statements, but we will discuss going forward. Mostly select, rarely insert, update, delete, but still iTab through it is possible. Okay, coming to this right side. What is right side? Files. So internal table data you can write to files. On other way, you can read file data into iTab also. Both reading from file, writing to file is also possible. Yes, read write operations. Okay, possible from file to iTab or iTab to file. Okay, same way you can download and upload. Download iTab data into Excel presentation, or else Excel data can be uploaded into iTab. That is also possible. You can write data to presentation, you can write data to application file, presentation file or application file, also possible. Okay, so this is, suppose we have some data in Excel at presentation. This data I want to send it to SAP. Then what happen? We cannot directly Excel to database, not possible. Excel data first will have to move to iTab. iTab through we will update with the respect to database table. That is the purpose. Similarly, I have some data at my application level file. I got data from non-SAP system. This data I want to send it to SAP. First, this application file can be set to uh, this what is it, application file data to iTab first, iTab to database next. Okay, that is multiple records at a time you can write it to database also. Okay, this is the arrow meaning. Everywhere double headed arrow is possible except this print list. Okay, clear? So this is about your iTab purpose, why SAP introduced, what are the things we are going to achieve or possibilities. Suppose if you want to go to file handling techniques in BDC, LSMW, we will discuss this topic, how internal table can be read and write. Okay, upload download scenario in BDC, conversions topic. Okay, conversions are interface through, you can send this data to outside also. Conversions interfaces, this iTab can be used. If you go to forms, script smart form, Adobe Forms, iTab I'll introduce at that time different way. If you go to reports, classical interactive ALV reports, we will discuss. Then module pull or dialog screens, how these transactions uses iTab data. That is, you see all rise of objects using iTab topic. Simply can conclude that way. Then finally, we will move on to next level topic. That is, see, I'm keep on talking in internal table introduction only. Yes. There is another way, another meaning of introducing internal tables, because that's very, very important. Yes, that is the main reason, first of all. These are also reasons, but main reason I will tell you now. What exactly the main reason? Suppose, like, suppose there is a client requirement, client or better we say customer requirement. to perform changes of existing data. Yes. Okay. By mistake, we entered some wrong postal code updated for several tables. Several tables or several records last wrong. This is a common mistake user can do. User means customer or user. People, there is a tendency to do some mistakes. But later on, we identified, oh, wrong data is there in SAP. You want to correct records, multiple tables and all. At that time, how do you approach it? So, there are two ways. First, you can go to hit that table, change that record. Hit the table, change the record. Hit the table, record, change. One table, multiple records, one after another, you can change it. So for every change purpose, if you hit the tables, database tables directly, that is again causing a negative impact because you are talking on layer to layer, one layer to another layer. Database data is not available at your level. That is there in the underlying level. This is totally separate database. So that's why hitting the database table for select purpose or update purpose or insert purpose multiple times not allowed. Okay, not recommended. That's why what happens, first we will fetch the data, wrong data only. Wrong data means existing data. Existing data we will fetch into iTab first. iTab level we will do the changes, postal code changes quickly. Then this change we will reflect it back. That is the purpose of iTab. Okay. Suppose there is a requirement to perform changes, right? First step, directly changing at database table level is not recommended by SAP. Yes. Which causes, that's it. There are a lot of performance reasons, negative impact. Yes. Alternatively, yes, what happens? We can fetch the existing data, existing means available as it is, whatever is there, existing data into internal table, that is iTab, internal table. Then what next? Perform changes, required changes at iTab level. What next? Next, update the changes back on database table. So, what is the meaning? Performing changes at iTab level is more easy, okay, rather than direct change on the database, and which is recommended by SAP. This is first primary internal table introduction. Main reason is this. Okay, if you want to carry out that too, it's not one record change, multiple records you want to change. Obviously, this approach we will follow. Yes, sometimes 2-3 tables have wrong data. Then in that case, internal table can be created on 2-3 tables also possible. Then next, here we will do the change at iTab level, and you can do that. The change will reflect on respective database tables. It may update first table, second table, third table also. That is, we can update not only on single table, corresponding dependent tables also can be updated. That is read-write operations, we can do it from iTab. Correct? That's one of the reasons. Changes can be done very quick and fast by using iTab, because we in iTab can be seen in the debug. We can evaluate first. First you fetch the data and you look at what is there. As it is existing old data, will fetch it. Then you do the change here. This change at iTab, how to carry out the change, you can, I will also tell you. Okay, then again update back on the database. Okay, clear? Yes. Suppose what next? We can add additional records and update. We can insert additional record and update. That is also possible. Next, okay, suppose for example, when we fetch data, 50 records we got it. Another 5 records were added. So when you update back, we are going to add with 55 now. So this way, iTab through, you are adding rows, you are adding entries, you are adding records to the database table. At a time 5 entries, at a time 10 entries, at a time 50, another 50 entries you can add it. Yes, another 100 entries you can add it. Yes, this is about the advantage. Okay, next you want to sort scenario. What is the meaning of sort? Like suppose if you fetch the data, whatever is available as it is data, you will get a copy here. After that, based on our requirement, we can sort it and display into output. Yes. So that is, yes, sorting. Okay, you can do the sort on iTab level. Sorting entries at iTab level is easy rather than sorting directly at database table level, you know. And next, you have to know one concept differently, because any operation on database tables is permanent. Permanent means we cannot revert. But you have to remember that any operation on internal table is temporary, because internal table itself is temporary. On top of that, all operation on internal tables is or anything, okay, is temporary. The name itself temporary table, operation also temporary only. This is what you have to remember it. Okay. Yes. We got it. I repeat this case. Suppose we got the data as it is from the database, right? But user's requirement is sort the display the report country wise in a ascending manner, or kind of currency key wise ascending manner. Depends. Okay, so how do you do that? First, what happens? Directly you cannot sort on the database. If you try to do that, what happens? That become permanent sorting. But sometimes that is dangerous, because whoever using these tables, they will get affected immediately, because you are directly change on the database is always little risk. We don't do that directly. That's why this is a alternative mechanism. Fetch, declare our internal table on the table, fetch a copy of the data. Okay. Yes, internal tables are flexible first of all. Yes, internal tables are more flexible to perform, okay, to perform operations like sorting, etc. I'll tell you. Okay, because all operations are temporary. Explicitly, you want to update back, then only it will. Otherwise, if you don't update, then this changes remains locally only. These changes will be, yes, right. So, more flexible meaning is that we can we can perform temporary changes of database tables data. Okay, uh, okay, tables copy. Okay, tables data and display in report. That is temporarily you can display those changes. That's your example is sort. That sort does not actually original sorting at database not happening. Only our requirement wise, one report wise, you want to display that way. That's why bring it, sort it, accordingly display it. So that sort of iTab is only that program, that report only gets sorted. Remaining programs, remaining things not affected. That's what a temporary solution is possible. So what happens? Internal tables is tables holds a copy of database tables data, mm, database tables data, and to carry out changes, because a copy of the data original data will not be affected. So this is one of the, I told you, you can sort as per requirement. Another thing I can tell you. Suppose we want to, we can we can temporary modify modify data at high tab level. Yes, also possible, and display in report or form or screen anything. That's also possible. We can modify, that is bring the data exactly. Suppose two tables data you are fetching, merge two tables data, or you want to concatenate two tables data, two entries, two columns data. Those type of temporary operation you can do it. You can display output or else condense. When you fetch database table data, what happens? You will get leading zeros. That zeros you have to remove it. Removing leading zeros, you remove it at iTab level. Display when it comes to output without leading zeros, you can do that. So that removing leading zeros, you can do it by shift command or condense removing space, or you can do condense also, split also, concatenate also. These type of data you can do it. Okay. Yes, that's why I used one word called as modify data. And one more thing, I want to do it, that but when whatever the data you modify, those changes will be reflected on that particular program, that particular iTab level changes only. It doesn't reflect on other program iTabs, or it doesn't reflect on database table. This is most important. And one more important scenario I will tell you. Suppose we want to uh, we want to add we want to add leading sign to currency values. Suppose currency values can be done at a iTab level. What is the meaning of that? Suppose in the database, when data gets stored, it stores without plus or minus sign. So if you want to go to display the leading sign also, you can do that. That is one reason. Second, you want to display currency. Currency means a database does not stores the dollar symbol or rupee symbol. So what happened? Yes, that is another thing. We can yes, we can what is that? Concatenate uh, concatenate currency sign at iTab level. Okay, currency symbol sign means currency symbols. Okay, temporarily you can percentage symbol or ampersand symbol. Yes, there are different type of symbols, inserted symbols you want to concatenate. Example, rupee symbol. I want to display rupee symbol, Hindi raw letter, or its dollar symbols, etc. Because in the database, that the values are stored without symbols, without leading sign and all. All those things you have to handle it here. So these are all the things we can handle it at tab level. Okay. Yes, we can concatenate currency symbols temporarily at iTab level. Yes, this is another example. Okay, and next, because here if you look at our reports are meant for different users with different countries, different time zones. So they want time in different formats, date formats. Those different date formats also you can change temporarily, because in the database the data gets stored in YYYYMMTD format. Then the format for that region specific output. Second, the separated data and time formats can be temporarily changed. Okay, yes, date and time formats can be changed at iTab level. Okay, so this way I can give many examples. Okay, these are all the reasons iTabs can be used in this particular case. Okay, clear? Hope you are clear with basic topic. So, like if I take you to the next level, this slide is already over. We are moving towards the typical uses of internal table. Sort data from database table or sequential files for further processing. What is the meaning of further processing? Means you sorted data you printed. Sort it as per our requirement. Okay, display on screen or list. Sorted data you can do it on. Yes. Suppose like other way around. Some data is coming from non-SAP system. In an interface program, we'll get non-SAP data to file to item. So we have to internal tables through, we can validate the data also. That validation check also we can do it. Whether it is wax, okay, internal tables level, that data validation also we can do it. Yes. Some data is coming from non-SAP to SAP, directly file to database, directly you cannot write. Files data into iTab first, iTab to database next. But when data is coming from into iTab, at that level, we can write validation logics also. Yes. We can validate non-SAP file data with this is also possible. If valid, accept and update. Invalid, throw the error message. That's what we do in BDC concept. If something is wrong, you can throw to error message, this is missing, this is error, and so on. So that user can correct it and he can reprocess the file again. This is another type of use case. Clear? Second use case. So I told you report concepts also. You can next preparation data for screen or printer output purpose. Preparation of data for other services like methods, function models, and subroutine calling purpose. You can prepare it. Use that data into several times. Okay, right. If you look at attributes of internal tables, this is our next topic. So when you said table, table means it's a collection of rows and columns, isn't it? Yes. So record, first index record, second index, third index, fourth index, fifth index, sixth index. So index is one of the attribute to identify which record you are handling. Which record number can be identified by index number. Okay, that is one thing. Otherwise, value based. Value means carried equals to AE, carried equals 0017. So you can work on internal table entries based on two types. That is, index based you can read write, or value based you can write write. When you write value, you have to specify key equals to key value, key equals to key value. Accordingly, you can read and write this one. So there is a word called as line type. That is, line type represent how a line is created in iTab. This line, each line have char ID, con ID, distance details. That is the line type in this case. Sometimes 4 columns, 5 columns, 10 columns, 100 columns also a line type can be created. That depends. Okay, then you have key, non-key concepts at iTab level. Then iTab can be created with standard index, sorted index, and hashed tables are also. That is another attribute. So this attributes topic we have to discuss in tomorrow topic in depth. Yes, with header line, without header line differences, and the difference of standard, sorted, and hashed differences, how to work with index and values. Right, we have to see. This is the attributes concepts. Right, how to work with index and key. Right, next, how to declare internal tables with global and local. Yes, okay, what are the various syntaxes we have to. Next, how to perform append, insert, read, change, delete. Okay, yes. Each inserting row, outputting a row by using loop and loop. Read using index. Okay. Read by key. Read can be done by index also with key also. Key based operation, index based operation. How its syntax differs, you have to know. Sort, what are the sort syntax, delete syntax. record or delete entire table, internal table. Also, you have to know that how to debug internal tables using tables tab. And finally, difference between in old syntax versus new syntax. So these are all about internal table topic. Okay, we'll discuss in the upcoming sessions. Okay, thank you.